This is the only place where we break down every Big Ten team, every Big Ten game, and we'll go on the record with our official pigskin picks. We'll tell you everything that you can expect this weekend. Locked On Big Ten starts right now.
You are Locked On Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Big Ten. I'm Craig Sheeman. 40 years as a sports talk show host and play-by-play announcer. I want to thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Hey, if you're new, hit that free subscribe button down below. That way you'll never miss a single episode. And if you could share, follow, and like, that'll help us out too. Plus, you can hype YouTube videos now. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. So we got Friday Night Lights tonight. We got the USC-Notre Dame game tomorrow. I think it's a playoff elimination game. Plus Oregon and Penn State. Can they rebound? Ohio State, Indiana, they continue to roll. We'll get to all of it right now. So tonight, Friday Night Lights. We got number 25, Nebraska at Minnesota, 8 o'clock Eastern on Fox. The Huskers are coming off a crazy week. First of all, Dylan Rhule throws 3 interceptions last weekend, including a pick 6, but threw 4 touchdowns. They beat Maryland on the road. Then James Franklin gets fired at Penn State. Well, why am I mentioning that while talking about Nebraska? Well, Nebraska head coach Matt Rhule gave kind of an awkward answer this weekend to a question about that job vacancy. Because if you don't know, Matt Rhule is a Penn State alum. He played linebacker for Joe Paterno. Many think he is interested in that job. That's the one job he would leave Nebraska for. So people ask him about the job, and it wasn't a great answer to quiet things down at Nebraska. He didn't say no. Let me put it that way. And yet it's too bad because right now the Huskers have some momentum. They're sitting at 5-1. They're ranked 25th in the country now, playing under the lights on a nationally televised game tonight, taking on Minnesota. Now, Minnesota had a crazy week too. Last weekend, they were down by 7 against Purdue. Then they tie the game late, and then they kick off. And then Coy Parrish gets a pick 6 for Minnesota to give them a touchdown lead. It was a 14-point swing in 7 seconds. That's pretty hard to do. They did it, and they stole that game from the Boilermakers. Meanwhile, freshman quarterback Drake Lindsey, I think he's coming up. He's coming along under PJ Fleck's system over there. So anyway, I think this could be an interesting game tonight to watch. We'll have our picks in just a moment in Pigskin Picks. So let's move on over to Saturday and everything that's going on with that full schedule from top to bottom. And, of course, we'll be going live after the USC-Notre Dame game. I'll tell you about that in just a minute. But first, we'll start it off at the noon game. Washington is at Michigan. Big noon on Fox. Okay. This is a rematch for the 2023 national championship season. A lot has changed since then. A lot. The Wolverines, of course, won the Natty. Then Washington won the matchup last year at Husky Stadium. And now they meet at the Big House. Washington quarterback Damon Williams Jr. coming off the biggest game of his career against Rutgers last week, tallied 538 yards of total offense by himself. 538. Passed for 402 and 2 touchdowns, ran for 136 and 2 more touchdowns. Of course, he was the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week. It was a no-brainer. Michigan, on the other hand, did not look great at USC last weekend. Their bread and butter is their running game. Starting running back Justice Haynes suffered an apparent rib or side torso injury. He did not return to the game. He's listed as questionable. Of course, Coach Sharon Moore been coy about his availability, but that's what Sharon Moore does. A lot of coaches are that way. Either way, look for Jordan Marshall to get a lot of carries this weekend. And at quarterback, I'm still waiting to see Bryce Underwood, who's been improving each week. He's fun to watch. I'm still waiting for that breakout monster passing game. Of course, it'll help if Michigan wide receivers could actually hang on to the ball. Purdue is at Northwestern. This is at 3 o'clock Eastern on the Big Ten Network. And while Purdue is still trying to find its way under Barry Odom, they failed to hold off Minnesota last week, as we just mentioned, who came from behind to beat them. But the best news out of Purdue this week, of course, is that the AP men's preseason basketball poll came out. They're the number 1 team in the country. Matt Painter, ready to go. There's some people in West Lafayette going, man, I wish basketball season would get here. It's here. It's coming. Meanwhile, Northwestern's feeling pretty good about itself right now. That was an incredible road win at Penn State. Of course, put the final nail in the coffin of James Franklin's career there. And that was David Braun's biggest win of his young coaching career. Now, the Wildcats are going to go from playing in front of 110,000 people at Beaver Stadium, and they're going to return to their temporary makeshift on-campus stadium on the shores of Lake Michigan while their stadium is still being built. And it looks like a cloudy day, chance of rain off of the shores of Lake Michigan on Saturday. Number one, Ohio State. There's a reason they're number one. They're on cruise control right now, and they're at Wisconsin, opposite of cruise control. This game's at 3:30 Eastern on CBS. And on offense, Ryan Day, he's been slowly opening up the playbook on this first-year quarterback, Julian Sain, and he keeps delivering. He's had numerous 300-yard passing games for the Buckeyes. And on defense, Matt Patricia's unit just keeps a stranglehold on opponents. Very impressive. Meanwhile, Luke Fickell and the Badgers, again, the opposite of cruise control. The wheels have completely fallen off of this program. And last week at home, they got shut out 37-0 against Iowa. And Fickell, he's gone through 3 quarterbacks already this year. He's going through quarterbacks every year. He can't get quarterback right, and this has been his downfall there. Now, Ohio State's coming in, and this is Luke Fickell's alma mater, by the way. They're not going to do him any favors. And after this, they travel to Oregon. And I've always told you, if you're an everydayer here, you've heard me say it, that Wisconsin's got the most brutal schedule in the Big Ten, and they're in the thick of it right now when their coach's career is teetering on the brink here. So, look, I'm looking at the schedule. I just mentioned Ohio State and Oregon, right? They still have to travel to number 3 Indiana. They host Illinois. They've got Minnesota at the end. Maybe they could win them. I mean, there might not be any more wins left for Wisconsin on this schedule. It's tough. It feels like Luke Fickell is going to get the James Franklin treatment any day now on this. It really does. I mean, I don't have any inside intel on it, but it feels like they go losing big in this game to Ohio State, which they're gonna. That could be it. That could be it. So we'll see what happens on that. I don't have a lot of hope for him. It's too bad. We never call for a coach to lose his job. And, we had James Franklin last week. We had UCLA a couple of weeks ago. I think Wisconsin's the next one to kind of keep an eye on, and we'll be all over it here on Locked On Big Ten. All right, so we're just getting started. We're scratching the surface on what's going on here this weekend. Be sure to hit that free subscribe button down below if you're brand new. That way you'll never miss a single episode. You'll be in the Big Ten Club with me here. And if you're already watching or listening, I know you're a Big Ten fan. You probably know other Big Ten fans, family members, former roommates, friends, whatever. Let them know that we're out here every day. Tell them about word of mouth, or hit that little share arrow and send this video on to them. Let them know that we're out here every single day. And of course, on weekends, we go live. We're going to go live right after the USC-Notre Dame game on Saturday night. We'll have more details on that in a moment. Don't forget, we also have a website. It is talkbig10.com. That's with the number 10. All of our podcasts go there. When you're done here, hit us up with a second listen. Catch up on what we did this week. Multiple podcasts throughout the week leading up to this weekend. And we also have links there if you want to buy some Big Ten school merchandise from your favorite Big Ten school. Shirts, T-shirts, hats, pennants, all that. Christmas, we're a little more than 2 months away from Christmas. Got to be thinking about that stuff. So coming up, a lot to do. We're going to get into this USC-Notre Dame game, again, which we'll be going live after. As soon as that game is over on Saturday night here on Locked On Big Ten, we'll talk about Indiana. Are they still going to roll? Oregon and Penn State, are they going to be bouncing back from losses? And then we'll go on the record with our pigskin picks. All that is coming up in 1 minute right here on Locked On Big Ten. It is practically the weekend here, and it's time to look back and crown this past week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order, these players delivered when it mattered most. Damon Williams, how can you top what he did? 538 yards of offense for Washington. King Miller, redshirt freshman, stepping up. These guys delivered when it counted. No hesitation, no delay. And just like these players deliver on Saturdays or Friday nights, whatever, with DoorDash Streaks, You save every Saturday that you order. Stack them up week after week after week. You can save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. So order the Saturday, keep the streak alive, fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period good through November 18th. Supply House. If you're running a business or you got a lot of repairs to do and you need parts and you don't have parts, you can't do your work. That's money on the table. Supply House can help fix all of that. Order today and see parts at your doorstep tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times keep you from punting projects and wasting money, while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. It's a game changer. With Supply House, next day delivery, I mean, you're set to go. Plus, join the free Trade Master program today. Score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and a dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free and use the promo code SHColleges5, number 5, for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service at Supply House. Thanks for checking us out. Thank you, everydayers here on Locked On Big Ten. You really make us go. Always appreciate that. And if you could hit that subscribe button down below, share, follow, and like, that'll help us out too. Plus, don't forget our website, talkbig10.com, for podcasts and your favorite school merchandise. Let's jump back into it. Big weekend here. All right, Michigan State at number 3, Indiana. 3:30 game, Eastern time on Peacock. Now, here's the deal. I felt like last week, Michigan State's home loss to UCLA, I thought it was a big step backward for Jonathan Smith's program, for the Spartans, and not because they lost to UCLA. I mean, suddenly that's one of the hottest teams in the Big Ten right now. But because after, taking a 7-0 lead, then all of a sudden UCLA rattles off 38 unanswered points. My opinion, it felt like the Michigan State players quit after they got in that it snowballed on them. That's bad. It's bad for the players. It's bad for the coaches. And now they have to take on the actual hottest team in the Big Ten, maybe in the country, number 3, Indiana, in Bloomington. So now with Indiana, this could be, if you follow the formula of some other teams, this could be a letdown spot for the Hoosiers. They had an emotionally draining big win on the road at Oregon last week, got the entire country's attention. The one thing about Curt Cignetti, I think he does a great job in preparing his team for the moment. And he doesn't let off the gas. I mean, he knows his team. He understands his team. He knows what to do. He'll have them ready. So I don't think there will be a letdown. I don't think they will play down to competition. I expect a lot of points on the scoreboard for Michigan, or for Indiana, actually. We'll talk about that in our pigskin picks as well. Number 8, Oregon. They fell to number 8 after the loss to Indiana. They have to make their longest trip of the season all the way to New Jersey and Piscataway to take on Rutgers. That is at 6:30 Eastern on the Big Ten Network, 3:30 Pacific. So speaking of Oregon here, so we're going to see how they bounce back from their first loss to the Big Ten ever, right? Relatively new to the Big Ten, went undefeated last year, were the Big Ten champions, haven't lost a Big Ten game yet until last week, until Indiana went into Autzen Stadium. So they'll have to shake that off and then make this long road trip. And because of the long road trip, I'm going to wait and see if they'll be a little bit sluggish just at the beginning. I think they'll step into gear. But you remember how they were in the Northwestern game a couple of weeks ago. Now, that was an early game. That was like 9 o'clock their time, body time, 9 in the morning. Only had to travel halfway across the country. Now they're going all the way across. So we'll see. I mean, Dan Lanning, I'll have these guys ready to go. I have no doubt about that. And by the way, if you haven't seen Rutgers play yet, this is the most entertaining Rutgers team there's ever been. Ethan Kaliak-Manis, their quarterback, they score a lot of points. Their defense needs some work, particularly against the run. And I think that's going to be a problem against the Ducks running game. I really do. All right, now maybe the most interesting game of the weekend. It's got to be Penn State at Iowa, right? That's a 7 o'clock Eastern time on Peacock. Things could go from bad to worse for Penn State here. Obviously, James Franklin was fired on Sunday, dropping to 0-3 in the Big Ten. Nobody saw that coming. That included losses to UCLA and Northwestern, both teams that Penn State was more than 20-point favorites against. Interim head coach Terry Smith makes his debut. And I thought he gave a brutally honest comment about the Franklin fire. He said, we all failed James Franklin. That's why he's not here anymore. And a lot of the players feel the same way too. Captain Nick Dawkins says that he and his teammates, they have a tremendous amount of guilt right now for costing Franklin his job. So there's more bad news. Of course, as you know by now, Nittany Lions starting quarterback Drew Aller lost for the year with his injury late in that game against Northwestern last week. So Ethan Grunkemeyer will be the starting quarterback the rest of the way. So a lot of changes at Penn State this week. And now they're going into Kinnick Stadium, home of the Iowa Hawkeyes. That is not the easiest place to play in college football, especially if you're a Penn State team that's trying to find itself. This could be tricky. Now, the Hawkeyes themselves, they bounced back in their bye week, and then they blew out and shut out Wisconsin on the road last week, 37-0. It also appears that Mark Gronowski, their quarterback, who sprained his knee against Indiana, had the week off after that. Looks like he's fine. Maryland at UCLA. Maryland traveling all the way across the country to the Rose Bowl, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. That game is on FS1. This is a tale of two teams that are like polar opposites, right? Maryland started out the season 4-0, and they never trailed in those 4 games. Then they suffered back-to-back losses to Washington and Nebraska. Meanwhile, UCLA started out 0-4. They never had the lead in any of those 4 games before winning 2 in a row against Penn State and Michigan State. Plus, I think this is going to be a fun quarterback battle. If you want to check it out, between freshman Malik Washington from Maryland and Nico Iamaleava, who all of a sudden has emerged into the star. Nico, with all the talk in the offseason, with his transfer from Tennessee to UCLA, and then he really didn't deliver much, and the team around him was bad. And now all of a sudden, he's hot. Everything's going their way. And if you haven't had a chance to see Malik Washington play quarterback for Maryland, I think he's going to be the Big Ten freshman of the year, not Bryce Underwood. I think he's better than Bryce Underwood, built almost the same. If they're standing side by side, you got a couple of 6'5" guys, 230, same build, both with rocket arms. But Malik Washington seems a little more finessed in his passing game right now than Bryce Underwood. And right now, if the season ended today, I would make him the Big Ten freshman of the year, in my opinion. Let me know. Maybe you agree or disagree with that. Then we got the big game of the whole weekend. Number 20, USC, and number 13, Notre Dame, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on NBC. And that's the game we're going to go live after. Like, we're here every day with podcasts, but we go live on Saturdays. We're going to go live after the USC-Notre Dame game that should end around 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Pacific-ish. And usually right after the winning coach does the on-field back-and-forth interview, that's when we go live. Join us. Mark your calendar. Make it an appointment. Because the cool thing about that, we always have fun with it. You get my immediate, raw, unfiltered reaction to a game. And we'll also cover the rest of the day, too, in the Big Ten. But I get your real live-time comments on YouTube as well. So I get a gauge of what you're thinking as well. So mark your calendar. Right after that USC-Notre Dame game, make an appointment to join us. We'll look forward to all that. So this game, it's a huge rivalry. It's the biggest for both schools. And I also think this is a playoff contention elimination game. Maybe more so for Notre Dame because they already have 2 losses. Now, they were ranked losses, Miami and Texas A&M. The Fighting Irish are led by a freshman quarterback, C.J. Carr, by the way, if that name's familiar. He is the grandson of former Michigan football coach Lloyd Carr. They have an explosive running back in Jeremiah Love as well. I think he's the best running back in the country myself. Meanwhile, USC's coming off that huge win over Michigan, and now they travel to South Bend for perhaps the last time. This 100-year-old rivalry looks like it's going bye-bye. And for right now, though, the game's still going to take place. Everybody's going to watch and pay attention. And USC also on a bit of a high right now. That was a big win that they got last week, not just because they beat Michigan, but they beat them soundly. So they got a lot of momentum coming off of that game. And if they get that, come off the Michigan win, and then they get a win on a national stage in a non-conference game, in a rivalry game against Notre Dame, that gives Lincoln Riley a big shot on the arm going into the second half of the season, I think. Their quarterback, Jade Maiava, is playing as well as anybody in the country right now. And the Trojans, though, they are banged up at running back. They are. And freshman King Miller, who was a walk-on, stepped into that Michigan game and rushed for 158 yards and a touchdown. And if he keeps doing that, he's going to get himself a scholarship. That's for sure, right? All right, that's a thumbnail on every single team, every single game as promised. Coming up next, we go on the record. That's right, it's money time. It's time for our pigskin picks. That's next here on Locked On Big Ten. Guys, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis, maybe even tried them. But if you're looking something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rhule Go Long. Rhule Go Long. And it's not just another ED pill. It's a game changer. It helps with the confidence. The effects can last up to 36 hours. Give you confidence all in the night, into the next day, whatever your situation is. The process is simple. You connect with a board-certified doctor, 100% online, and if prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly right to your door, and good to go. You're good to go at that point. Ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom? Go to Rugiet.com. That's RUGIET.com and use the promo code LOCKEDONCollege for 15% off your first order. That's Rugiet, RUGIET.com, promo code LOCKEDONCollege. And make sure you use that code so that they know that we're the ones that sent you. All right, I know you're watching games because you're a fan, you're passionate, it's exciting. You can make it more exciting. You got a little something on it with FanDuel. Yeah, FanDuel, especially football, NFL. Let's start with the NFL. FanDuel has an offer that it's a can't miss offer here. Right now, you, new customers, you can bet just $5 and get 300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. You pick a bet, you put down $5. If it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So it makes football even more exciting. Their app is super easy to navigate with point spreads, point totals, futures, player props, all that right there. And when you win, paybacks are quick, real quick. So what have you been waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com and download the FanDuel app today and get started. That's at FanDuel.com. All right, thanks for checking us out here on Locked On Big Ten. Again, going live after the USC-Notre Dame game. Let's take a look and go on the record with our pigskin picks. If you're on audio, and by the way, we're audio only. If you like Apple or Spotify or whatever, I'll describe what's going on. I'm just going to put a slate here on the screen of the games. We'll start it off with the Friday night game here tonight. Number 25, Nebraska at Minnesota. So Nebraska is on an 8.5-point favorite in this game, and the total is 47.5. I think Nebraska will win this game, but first of all, Dylan Raiola's got to shore up those interceptions. I mean, 3 last week. I think they will. So I think Nebraska wins this game, but I don't like this 8.5 points. I think Minnesota is going to fight them tooth and nail. I think this is a 3-point ball game. Either way, I do think Nebraska wins. So the 8.5, give me Minnesota on the points there. Nebraska wins, but not by 8.5. And I do like the over in this one at 47.5. I think this will get into the 50s. On Saturday, Washington is at Michigan. Michigan is a 6.5-point favorite. The over-under is 50.5. I'm going to tell you right now, I might make this my lock. Washington's winning this game. They're going to go into the big house, and that's a big point spread for Michigan, -6.5. I don't think they cover that, but I think Washington is a live dog on the road here. And I also think this goes over the number at 50.5. I think Washington's going to put up a lot of points. We'll see if Michigan can keep up with them with sometimes limited offense. All right. Purdue at Northwestern. Northwestern is a 3.5-point favorite. The number is 47.5. I'd like Northwestern to win this game. They'll get just over. I don't know if they get to a 7-point win, maybe 4-point win, something like that. It's going to be, if you're looking at the margins here, it's going to be close. But I think Northwestern wins this game. They cover the 3.5. I would take the under on this one at 47.5. I do not think there will be a lot of scoring in this game. Elsewhere, number 1, Ohio State at Wisconsin. The line is 25.5. Ohio State's obviously favored. The number is low, 41.5. So I think these are both wrong. I think just look at last week that, if Iowa's going to go into Wisconsin and beat them 37-0, how badly is Ohio State going to beat them? So I think this gets in the 50s to maybe not. And by the way, Wisconsin doesn't score on Iowa's defense. They're not scoring on Ohio State's defense. The only way Wisconsin scores is if there's a fluke turnover or a special team deal. I very much expect this to be 55-0 in that neighborhood. So that means Ohio State covers the 25.5. That means you fly past the over at 41.5. Michigan State at Indiana. Indiana almost a 4-touchdown favorite at 27.5 points. The over-under at 52.5. As I told you before, Kurt Cignetti will have his team even-keeled, fired up, ready to go, and they don't let off the gas. So I absolutely could see them adding to their lead by a touchdown every quarter in this game and winning by at least 4 touchdowns. Indiana will win. Indiana will cover. And this game gets over the 52.5. And Indiana's going to score most of them. I'll tell you that right now. All right, number 8, Oregon at Rutgers. That's a typo on my part. It's plus 17.5. Oregon is favored by 17.5. I think there's a potential to start out slowly, but they will cover. They will cover this game. And if they don't start out slowly, they will really cover. But I also expect a lot of points. Rutgers can score. So take the over at 59.5. Again, Oregon there, the 17.5 point favorite. Penn State is at Iowa. Iowa is a 2.5 point favorite against Penn State. If somebody would have told you that would have been the line like 3 weeks ago, what would you have said? And I think this is exactly what's going to happen. I think Iowa wins. They are at home. They cover. And the number 40.5. That's pretty low. I might be tempted. I'm going to take the under on that one. I think Penn State's going to have a hard time finding its way. Maybe score 14 points, something like that. Iowa will score enough to win and cover, but I like the under in that one, 40.5. Maryland is at UCLA. UCLA is a 3.5 point favorite, and the number 51.5. I think this is a 3-point game. Either way, I do think UCLA will have the home field advantage, and Maryland, traveling across the country. Let's see if UCLA can win 3 in a row. I gotta go. They gotta go over the 3.5 though. I think they cover. So make it a 4-point game. It's close. It's close, but UCLA wins. They cover. And by the way, more so than the point total, as we give our bold, fearless takes, fly past that 51.5. Both of these teams are going to put some points on the board. Take the way over on this one. And then the big game of the weekend, number 20, USC at number 13, Notre Dame. Notre Dame at a 9.5 point favorite, the number 61.5. I don't like this number. I think USC at least gets inside that number, if not wins outright as a road dog. I think USC's really ready to go, but the 9.5, that's disrespectful. That's too much. So take USC and the points, and I like this game to get on the over because both teams can move the football. Although Notre Dame has some pretty good defense too. I expect some, if there's a prop bet on interceptions on both sides, take them. But anyway, there we go. Those are bold, fearless pigskin picks. Let me know what you think. You can agree or disagree with me. It'll be fun to see how this all shakes out. And don't forget, we're going live after that USC-Notre Dame game as well. Before you go, hit that subscribe button. That way you'll never miss a single episode. If you could share, follow, and like, that helps us out too. Go back and check out any of our episodes we did this week for a second listen as well. And don't forget, college football fans, Locked On and Fire TV present the College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll from Locked On Big 12 is the host, along with two-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson and former college star Jesse Holley. And then all of our Locked On experts get together and preview these games. So it's the College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. That'll do it for us. Now it's up to the games. We'll see you live on Saturday night, and then we're here every day. We'll be back Monday with the latest on the weekend and moving forward to yet another week. For Locked On Big Ten, I'm Craig Sheeman. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.